Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. If you haven't joined me before, I'm Karen Curitan, social media trainer, working with businesses to help them get more customers using social media. So I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Those of you who are fortunate enough to be mums or still to have your mum around, hope you had a lovely Mother's Day. We had quite a low-key Mother's Day here. I made lunch for my mother-in-law, father-in-law, my parents, and cooked up a storm yesterday. So that was nice and very grateful to have them still with us. So today's topic is, why aren't I getting results on social media? And hopefully by virtue of the fact that you're tuning in and you're joining me, maybe you're not getting the results you want from your social media activity. Excuse me, I need this morning. Alarm went off at 5:30 this morning, at the gym at 6:30. Yes, I'm on a mission. So a lot of people contact me and say, I'm just not getting results online. It's not working for me. It's a waste of time, waste of effort. No point in paying to get any training. Why bother? Well, there are multiple reasons. Firstly, let's just say there's not one size fits all for this sort of thing. But some core things that I want you to think about. And this is a really good starting point. Have a look at your business page, whether it's your LinkedIn profile, whether it's your Facebook business page, your Instagram, wherever you're signposting people to. Is it clear quickly? And by that, I mean 5 to 7 seconds, who you are and what you offer and what do I do next? Really important. Because we need to have clarity and focus about who you are. If you offer a service-based business, how do you help me? In what capacity do you help me? If you're selling a product, why would I buy your product rather than somebody else's? We have to grab somebody's attention because we have sadly turned into a world of scrollers. And that's the truth. So if you're on LinkedIn and somebody goes onto your profile, guess what? LinkedIn's algorithm will say, oh, you might be interested in talking to these people. And guess what? It might be one of your competitors. Or if your social media post is shared by one of your friends or clients, somebody's going to land and go, well, what's all this all about? Why? Why am I interested in this? So depending on what your business is, it's going to be different things. So good starting point is make sure your page is resonating with your perfect client. It's not about us. It's got to be easy to understand, easy to navigate, really straightforward to take the next steps. That's absolutely critical. Whether you're a product or service-based business, it doesn't matter. You've got to be that way. You've got to think like your perfect client. Simple as. So while that digests that thought, yes, you need to be posting, but so much. So today within my social media for grown-ups group, we're talking about how to grow your audience in LinkedIn. And actually, the principles broadly are the same, but the methodology between LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook is slightly different. But ultimately, yes, you need to be present. You need to be posting at least a couple of times a week at the right time of day. And by the time of day, I mean the time of day your perfect client is most likely to be active. Now, Meta Business Suite will really kindly tell us when your audience are most likely to be active, but you need to be a bit more digging than that. The more you understand about your perfect client, the easier it is to write content that's going to attract and resonate them. It's not our tone of voice, it's words and language. And if you're struggling with that, speak to people who you've already worked with, who've already bought your products or services. Ask them some questions, do a bit of research, a bit of digging on this. So important. So make sure that you are having a varied, interesting newsfeed, regardless of platform. Because if I go onto your Facebook page or your Instagram, let's focus on them for a second, and all I'm seeing, or if you're selling a product, of all I'm seeing are your products, guess what? It's a bit blooming boring. Sorry, I'm on it this morning, but it is a bit boring. I worked with a company the other day, and they sell a product, and their newsfeed is just all their products. It's like going to a party, everybody, and just talking about yourself. So think about what you can do to make yourself look more interesting. That interesting person at the party that everybody wants to speak to, because you've got a varied conversation. You can talk about lots of different things. Yes, you're still going to stay on topic, but you can talk about maybe your experience, what customers say about you, maybe showcase a synergy business. Now, a synergy business is a real game changer. That's somebody who has the same customers as you, but doesn't offer your product or service. So by using that, you can potentially piggyback on those people, which is really great. It's also going to help you reach whichever platform you're on. And then the big one is, and this is where a lot of businesses fail. What they do is they say, well, I've got a profile, looks all right, Karen. I'm posting regularly. I think my content's okay. Okay, so that's your shop window sorted. You're changing your shop window regularly. Think about it like that. But shop isn't actually really open for business because you're not going out and talking to anybody. You're not telling anybody that you're there. You're not engaging with people. And this is the big mistake a lot of people make. So I had a conversation the other day, excuse me, it's one of those days. I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and they said, oh, I'm paying a virtual administrator to do my social media for us. I said, how's that going? Been doing it for a year, not got any results. And in fairness, the virtual administrator did say to her, well, this client of mine, potential client, tell me what brief you gave it. Well, I wanted to make sure the page looked good and that we're posting regularly. And I said, and she said, well, that's what she does. And that's the really important thing. If you're considering outsourcing your social media, be really clear about what the brief is. Because yes, doing what she's doing is enough to make sure you've got a consistent presence, and consistency is key. However, that's a bit like joining the gym and not showing up, because you need to be talking to people. You need to be engaging. You need to be commenting on other people's posts. You need to be building your audience. Now, if you are posting regularly, there is a chance that you will grow organically. Instagram, as a for example, grew really quickly for me because in the early days, I wasn't removing all these middle-aged American men who were following me, and then I had to go and retrospectively go out and filter them out, and lost about 40% of my followers on Instagram. But I can't say I was devastated about that. But you need to have the right people build your tribe of the right people. Have the right people in your network and talk to them. So today, our training in social media for grown-ups is about how to grow your audience on LinkedIn. Now, I'm not going to tell you all of that for free. I'm not going to give you all the good stuff for free, but speak to people, engage with them. Look for people that meet the profile of your perfect clients and look to connect with, say, 10 new people a week. And be careful, because LinkedIn is limiting how many people you can actually connect with a message. That's why a lot of people now on LinkedIn are using the strategy that they'll follow you, then they'll send a connection request without a message. That's why that's happening. If you're wondering why that's happening quite a lot, you'll get a message which says Karen Curitons follows you and is sending you a connection request. So that's something you need to be doing. Because what we need to be doing is building our network. We need to build a tribe that we're going to have a conversation with. We're going to build rapport. We're going to build know, like, and trust. So people get a sense of who we are and why they'd be interested in buying our products or services. Because people buy into people, everybody. You know, it doesn't matter what the name is over the door. If it's a chain of restaurants, say, I don't know, Ask. and you went in to ask and you had an awful experience, doesn't mean to say that every ask is an awful place. It's the people that make the difference. And when you run your own business or you're part of a small to medium business, people are connecting with you as individuals. It's not just a faceless name. So if you're not getting results on social media, you're probably not doing a lot of this stuff. You're probably churning out the same old content, the same old images that you've been using for years. Mix things up a bit. There's some incredible tools. Last week's live, I shared one of my favorite tools was the Marketing Magic Dashboard, which is great for refreshing your content, giving it a different perspective. It's AI, but on another level. But there are other things you can do. Do some research. Are the thought leaders in your industry, people that you respect and admire that aren't competitors because they're like way up here and you're entry level? Why not share their content? Use Google Alerts. That's another great thing to pick up content ideas. But if you're not getting results on social media, it's probably because you're just posting regularly and you're not doing anything else. This is a journey that we take people on. So we start with, and this is how I train my clients. So we start with the plan. The plan is the framework, the foundations for social media success. Then we start to understand what good content and imagery looks like and mixing it up. So for example, every Monday, I do a live. Pretty much nearly every Monday, I do a live because I'm trying to share things that might be helpful or interesting to my audience. And that's what I respond to. So I'm giving that. So having a content framework, a plan of content that you could be posting on your social media that's going to be relevant and interesting, not selling. We don't want to be sold to. There's nothing worse than somebody trying to sell to you. But the polar opposite of that, is somebody not even engaging with you. So for example, on Instagram last week, I saw something. It was a Derby-based business. For the life of me, I can't remember the name of them. But it was a Derby-based business, and I commented on their post. It was a beauty business, and I commented and said, that looks really interesting. What treatment was that? Still waiting for a reply. So sometimes it could be that you're missing easy wins. Are you checking your notifications every single day? And we're not famous. We're not superstars. We're not Oscar-winning Cillian Murphy, who's about his social media, if he's on it, is going crazy right now. But are you checking your notifications? Are you checking your private messages? There's nothing more frustrating than somebody that's warmed up to being interested in working with you to then say, I'm interested, and nothing happening. It's in the sales industry that I started my career in, what we call a buying signal. You're very welcome, Claire. It's good to have you here. Because this is all about relationship building. And if somebody says, oh, I really like the sound of that, that's a classic buying signal. So social media is so much more than just posting. Yes, it's good to post, but seriously, I would say, in fact, I've said to the lovely ladies that have joined Social Media for Grownups, if I had my way, you would stop doing anything until you've completed the learning. Because what we need to do is understand all of the elements, have a plan, create good content, engage and build our network, and then have a plan to take them through from being somebody who has an awareness of what you do, an interest in what you do, a desire to what you want to do, to what you offer, for what you offer, to take action. And that's, if you like, the icing on the showstopper cake, or my lovely chocolate profiteroles that I made yesterday. Are you taking them through a natural progression to actually becoming clients? Because say you have a service which is £100 an hour. Somebody's not going to come along every day, week, and month for that. If you have products that maybe are, I don't know, £150, £200 plus, or you're a beauty salon who does aesthetic treatments, and typically that's £200 a time. People aren't just going to go from oh, this looks nice, to I'm going to buy that, or I'm going to spend that money on myself, or I'm going to invest in that for my personal training. It's very rarely if you have something, if we were selling cups, this would be easy. This would be really, if my cup said, I'd rather be in Worthington, I could probably sell this to everybody that lives in Worthington really easily. But if you have something that's more premium price, that's not in everybody's price bracket, or you offer a service, so you're an accountant, a bookkeeper, electrician, wealth management, we don't need those things every day, week, or month. So that's about taking your marketing and having other ways to market to people. Social media is wonderful. I love it. I totally love it. Absolutely love it. But we need to have other ways to market to people. And that's really important that you think about that. What other ways are you going to do? You're going out to networking. Have you got a decent website? Are you driving traffic to the website? Do you do any advertising, direct mail, Google ads, whatever? Do you have a referral scheme? There's lots of things you could be doing. And all of this forms the whole picture, which is why you might not be getting results in social media. You haven't got a holistic, complete approach to it. Because what resonates with you might not resonate with me, resonates with the guy down the road. And that's so important. But in classic sales fashion, keep it simple, stupid. Don't overcomplicate it. Keep it on point, make it varied, but have a plan on how you're going to do it. And that's how I work. So we start with the plan, then we look at content, then we look at building your audience, and then we look at how we take them from being somebody who has an awareness and interest in what you offer through to a desire to work with you and to take action. And that final bit, that final icing on the cake, is what we would usually call a sales funnel or a lead magnet. And that's something that we've got, that we have to master. And it's astonishing how many businesses, not just solopreneurs like good old me, less of the old, I think, not just solopreneurs, large organizations. So a perfect example, everybody. Last week when Instagram and Facebook went down, I know a number of you had an absolute nosebleed, because you've got no other way of keeping in touch with your clients. Think about that. Think about, what if it happened again? What if you got locked out of your account and couldn't get in there? I've got one lovely client, wonderful business. The person that set up their business page is no longer involved in the business, and they've tried to get ownership of their page, and they can't, so they're going to have to start again. Here's one of my favorite current phrases. What if they had the email addresses of everybody that they worked with? Because I said to them, do you do an email marketing? No, sorry, my hair's having a moment. Do you do email marketing? Now, if you had email marketing and you had email addresses, and you as part of your content plan, built an email list, kept in touch with your audience regularly, then you could email them and say, hey, guess what? Facebook and Instagram were down yesterday. Did you see it? Did you miss it? Did you have a breakdown? We did. And have a bit of fun. It's a great opportunity to keep in touch with people. So I'm always really keen to try and get people's email addresses, if we can, within GDPR. So I want you to think about that. So today's live has gone a bit longer than planned, but I got a bit on my hobby horse. Next week, we'll be back to my favorite tools that I use to make my social media life easier. So any questions, as ever, please comment on the post or drop me a private message if you're not comfortable sharing it out here. And if you haven't worked with me before and you want to explore how I can support you, then book a no obligation chat. You can do that. Not a problem at all. And I'll see you next Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.